Let's talk LED masks. These things are so scary looking, aren't they? You can scare all your friends by sending them a selfie wearing one of these masks. You know, I go somewhere in between thinking these are all totally gimmicky and also kind of starting to wonder, you know, are they actually beneficial for the skin? Is this something that I should be doing? Now, recently I was given the opportunity to test and review the Korean Eco-Face Lightening Mask. So give this video a big thumbs up because today, not only am I going to share my experience using the Eco-Face with you guys, but we're also going to dive in deep to this technology that is behind these LED masks. Find out, is this really beneficial for your skin? And ultimately, we're going to decide, is this really worth spending your money on? So the Eco-Face Lightening Mask is an LED therapy mask that uses red and near-infrared light to help prevent aging, wrinkles, fine lines, to help improve your skin's texture, to reduce dark and red spots. It also increases your skin's elasticity, it brightens up your skin tone, and it helps your skin hold more moisture. That is a lot of claims. So how can Eco-Face give our skin all of these benefits? It definitely comes down to the use of red light and near-infrared light. So let's talk about that red light first. So red light is actually part of the visible light spectrum. It means you can see it with your human eye, and it goes between about 630 to 700 nanomillimeters on the electromagnetic scale. And that means that it's a pretty short wavelength that usually it just hits the top layer of your skin. This is going to treat all of the surface concerns of your skin. So let's talk about near infrared light. Now this is part of the invisible spectrum of light. It means you cannot see it with the naked human eye. This goes somewhere between about 700 and 1200 nanomillimeters on the electromagnetic spectrum. Now what this means is that wavelength is going to be a lot longer, which means that it can actually go deeper than the surface level of our skin, which is where that red light is hitting. It goes deeper into the skin and can really stimulate your cells to a regenerative process. Now this is very exciting. So in the Eco-Face mask, we have 630 nanomillimeters being used of a red light, and we also have 830 nanomillimeters of near infrared light being used in this specific unit. Now, why, how does this work? How does this work? Okay, we know about the rays, we know what they supposedly can do on our skin, but what does this do inside of our skin, and how does this create so many benefits? And this is definitely going to come down to the two lights being used, because red light is going to work on the top surface layer of your skin. It's going to help mostly with issues due to hyperpigmentation, to overproduction of melanin. But this near infrared light is what really excites me, because this goes in deeper to your skin, and this can actually stimulate your cells to regenerate, which means, what does this mean? More collagen production. This is going to stimulate your skin's collagen production. Now, as you may know, the collagen structure of your skin is what keeps it looking supple, smooth, elastic, wrinkle-free. This is what makes your skin look young, and this is what preserves our skin as we get older, is that collagen structure. But as we know, our body decreases the amount of collagen that it produces as we get older. From about the age of 25 onwards, those levels start to decrease, and they just get, lower and lower as we age. And that's why you can start to see saggy skin, thin skin, wrinkles. It's because your collagen is breaking down. Now, you may know applying collagen on top of your skin isn't going to do all that much for you, because collagen on top of the skin isn't received very well by the skin. Your skin just doesn't know what to do with that collagen. But if you can use processes that stimulate your body's own collagen production, that's excellent, because when your body produces collagen, it definitely knows what to do with it. So this is very exciting. But not only that, not only the collagen and the, the anti-aging concerns, this can also help to stimulate the wound healing on your skin. This is really important, especially for those of us who suffer from acne. This also has benefits for inflammation, for calming inflammation. So these are some really big benefits that are coming from these lights. And for for them to be in combination with each other, it really does make sense that it can cause all of these benefits on our skin, because the science behind it, it just makes sense. So are these masks really safe? That is definitely a question that I had in the back of my mind, you know, researching these masks, but also, you know, testing this mask in particular. Is this really safe for our skin? So, you know, we got to dive in deep here. I think the delivery method of these lights is incredibly important. This is delivered by LED light. This is very, very good. LED light is very safe because it helps you control the surface temperature of the skin. So this means that when you put the mask on, this was a concern I had before I even used the mask. Is my skin going to get warm? Is it going to be hot? No, not at all. You will not feel any warming sensation using the Eco Face mask. And that is because the LED controls the surface temperature of your skin with the light. The other thing that I also thought, you know, I'm sure that this isn't an issue, but whenever I think about light being really close to my skin, for some reason I was like, is this gonna tan my skin? I mean, I knew it wasn't, but it's just like one of those things that just like pops up in the back of your mind, like, can this tan my skin? Can this burn my skin? Can it burn my skin? No. And again, this comes down to the use of the LED and being able to control the temperature of the light and control the temperature of your skin. Now, the other interesting thing that I noted about the LED versus the other ways that the light can be delivered, like a laser or a halogen, LED is actually the safest and the most gentlest choice to use. It's the most gentle on the skin, and it's also the most gentle on the eyes. And that was another concern that I had was for my eyes. And this is really the safest method that you can use in a mask unit like this. So why only red light or near infrared light? Why aren't other types of lights being used? Because some other masks do use different combinations of lights. Now, you may be wondering, well, what about blue light? We hear a lot about blue light, and blue light actually has some really interesting benefits for acne-prone skin because it can really help to kill off the acne bacteria, and it also has some anti-inflammation benefits as well. So it definitely has benefits. However, blue light, we hear about blue light a lot, and when I said that, you might have thought about all of the blue light filters that we have on our phones and our computers to protect ourselves from blue light, because blue light emitted from, especially from like electronics, can actually be pretty harmful to our eyes, and it can actually mess around with our sleep cycles too. So, I mean, I don't know if blue light should be used in masks. Of course, you know, they are proved to be safe for the skin and all of that, but it's just one of those things that, you know, it makes me pause and makes me wonder, you know, we're avoiding all this blue light and other electronics. What makes the blue light being used in masks better? Now, I want to make it clear, there's no blue light being used in the Eco Face mask. I probably should have started off with that. Blue light is not being used by Eco Face, and in fact, Eco Face actually states that they don't believe that blue light is actually really that safe to be used in masks. Now, there's another type of light called yellow light. This is not being used in the Eco Face mask either. Again, remember, we're just using red light and near infrared light in Eco Face. So why not yellow light? Well, yellow light actually has not been conclusively proven to be beneficial for skin at all. So Eco Face is not even messing around with yellow light because it really doesn't show any benefits for skin. So who is Eco Face? Who is the person behind Eco Face? Eco Face was actually created by a dermatologist, Dr. Suk Hyun Bang, and she's actually the director and the specialist of the DR Dermatology Hospital in Korea. Now, the reason she wanted to create a unit like this, a mask like this, was to give her patients the ability to have a dermatologist type treatment that they can do at home in order to kind of continue their treatments that they're getting at the dermatologist hospital. Now, the Eco Face lightning mask has actually been independently tested by the IEC, which is a Korean-led research group, and they did have some really interesting findings on this mask. So they did do 2 separate tests on groups of 10 women between the ages of 30 and 60. So in total, 20 women were tested with this mask, and they were Korean women between the ages of 30 and 60. And what they found was when it came to reducing skin roughness or skin texture, they found it was reduced by 6.4%. 6.4% like improvement in skin texture. That's pretty cool. It also increased the skin elasticity by 11.5%, and it also increased the moisture retention of skin by 12.8%. So even though this is a pretty small study, you know, I do think that these findings are pretty promising, and it definitely has some proven benefits. So what do you get when you buy an Eco Face mask? So you're gonna get the mask itself, as well as a charger and a charging cord. It comes with a wall unit as well. It's not just USB. It also comes with a remote, which is what acts as the battery pack for this mask. So you will always recharge the remote. You won't be recharging the mask itself. It's all held in the remote control. Now the remote control also has the options to set the mask for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15, or 20 minutes. So you do have some options on this one. It also comes with some optional removable straps. So you can use the unit sitting up or walking around if you'd like to secure it with the head straps. And it also comes with some pads that are meant to customize the fit of the mask so that it sits upright on your face just right for you. Now, I do want to take a moment to tell you that I really appreciate that this unit is rechargeable because as I might have said earlier, some of these masks are not eco-friendly because they require you to continue to buy accessories. Now, especially some of the cheaper introductory priced masks on the market, I think there's a Neutrogena one that's between $40 and $60. That requires you to continue buying these battery packs, which is, first of all, it's not cool financially, right? Because you have to keep investing in this unit to keep it going. I don't like that. I like one charge and that's all, right? The second thing that I don't like about that is, generally speaking, battery packs are not recyclable. You cannot easily dispose of these types of things, so it's just really not sustainable. And when we're thinking about buying electronics, this is something that we want to think about, not only about additional costs down the road for us, but we also want to think about how can we dispose of this in the most responsible manner possible. And I just think that masks that require you to continue to buy charging packs or battery packs is just not a smart choice for many, many reasons. So I just want to let you guys know, I do find this to be a very good choice if you're going to invest in this type of an electronic for your skincare routine. This is definitely the way to go with a rechargeable battery pack. So how do you use this mask? Well, Eco Face actually has their own recommended routine that they tell you. This is exactly the way that they use it in the dermatology hospital. So you wash your face and then you gently steam your face with a warm towel. This is just going to help everything to penetrate your skin just a little bit better. Then you apply your serum step. Then you use the Eco Face mask and you use it for 20 minutes. They do recommend the full 20 minutes for the best benefit from the mask. Afterwards, after the mask is done, you mist your face and moisturize. Of course, you can just do your good old skincare routine. You don't have to follow these steps all the time, but this is what they recommend doing. And you definitely do want to do it after a toning, essence, or serum step, but you don't want to put on any heavy creams because that could potentially block the light from working properly on your skin. So you don't want anything heavy or occlusive before you use the mask. Now, Eco Face, in the manual itself, I couldn't find a specific, explicit recommendation for how many times a week you should be using this for best results. But I did do some digging and research into other masks and, other people's opinions on these masks, other dermatologists' opinions about these types of masks. And the general consensus was that it's a good idea to use this between about 3 to 5 times a week for the best results. All right, let's talk about my experience using this mask. And I'm going to start off by telling you that I was pretty skeptical about this. I mean, I was pretty excited about it too, but I also had some skepticism about it because I think the claims are very exciting. I was very taken in by the claims, but at the same time, my logical brain was like, how can this really work, right? I did test this unit for 2 months before compiling my thoughts about this. I wanted to give it a good long time for it to really show benefits, because a lot of the benefits that it claims is not something that's going to show up immediately. So I wanted to give it a good long testing period. And I did use this mask about 3 times a week within the 2-month period that I was using it. So it was a fairly consistent basis that I was using this mask. So first things first, the very first night that I used this, I want to let you guys know, I used the mask for 20 minutes right after my serum step, took the mask off, and then continued on with a cream product. I think it was Liquid Gold that I was using afterwards, and I had some stinging. Now, if you guys are familiar with Liquid Gold, that stuff doesn't sting your face. So I was surprised to feel just very mild stinging, and I felt that with my moisturizer as well. So I thought that perhaps it had sensitized my face. It wasn't terrible, but it was just like, I was like, uh-oh, you know, this is not good. Woke up the next morning, put my skincare on, nothing. No redness, no irritation, no stinging, no mild anything, no dryness, nothing. My thoughts on this is that it just kind of overstimulated my face. I think going for the full 20 minutes on the first use was just a little bit too much, and my skin was like, what are you doing to me? This is crazy. So I would say if you are going to go for something like this, if you can use it for like half the amount of time, like on the first use, just kind of work yourself up. Probably not a bad idea to be a little bit more on the cautious side. As I said, that irritation or that overstimulation was very short-lived, and it didn't cause any long-term problems, but it's something that I just want to like let you guys know about. The other thing that I would say is, oh, well, I wanted to let you know as well that I didn't experience that again on the second night that I used it. So it was really just like a one-time thing, and that's why I really think it was more of a an issue of being overstimulated on my skin, not necessarily sensitized. So the very first benefit that I noticed from the very first use on the mask was that it's really good for inflammation. I did have like an under the skin kind of pimple, you know, like a blind pimple. You're never going to be able to pop it or anything like that. It'll probably be like a lump for a little bit and then goes away. So I had something like that on my chin, and I used the mask, went to sleep, woke up the next morning, and the size of that inflamed bump underneath my chin was about 70% decreased. Like, it was very dramatically much smaller, which was really exciting. I was like, oh my goodness, this is so cool. However, I used this mask for about 2 months, as I said, 2 months, and I had other instances of hoping it would shrink pimples, all different kinds of pimples. And I would say, generally speaking, I had a success rate of dramatically reducing the inflammation of just pimples in general. About 60%, I would say, did go down dramatically. Not every single pimple responded the same way. And I'm not exactly sure why that is. My guess is it could either be the type of inflammation. You know, of course, hormonal acne is this like, there's nothing you can do about it. It's just very tricky. It doesn't usually respond to topical treatments. It could also be due to the age of the inflammation. Like if it just started to get inflamed, I think that you have a better chance of getting it to go down with this type of light mask than you would if it's older inflammation. So just a couple of guesses on that one. It doesn't work on every type of inflamed pimple, but it does show benefits on inflammation, just generally speaking. I also noticed while using this, my skincare just absorbed into my skin much better. I don't really know why that was, but I did notice that my layers would just absorb a lot faster than they would on like when I wasn't using this mask. So I thought that was really an interesting thing, because as we know, the deeper we can get our products into our skin, the more effective they can be. So this was definitely a bonus benefit in my opinion. I also noticed while using this mask, your skin will take on a more healthy appearance. I wouldn't necessarily say it brightens up your face. You're not going to glow in the dark. Oh, if only we could, right? If we could only glow in the dark. But it will just kind of give you that more healthier appearance to your skin. I do think that this is actually pretty effective on hyperpigmentation, especially if you have fresh hyperpigmentation on your face. This will speed up the fading of hyperpigmentation. It will definitely do that. Older marks, older hyperpigmentation, sunspots, and sun damage, I do think that it can help, but it's one of those things that we just need to remember. Sun damage and old sunspots take years to reveal themselves, and in years to build up, right? And it's not going to be as simple as like a 2-month fix and all of a sudden all your sun damage is gone, right? So this is something long term that we need to be in it for the long haul, but it does have some really promising benefits for hyperpigmentation. Now, there are 2 major benefits that I noticed while using this mask, but I have to tell you, I don't know that I can 100% credit the EcoFace for these benefits, but I do think that it played a part. So first major benefit, pores are smaller. What? Oh my God, this is amazing, right? Okay, so my experience with trying to tighten my pores, especially around my nose and like this area right here, they usually appear much, they just seem stretched out in that area. They always seem to get blackheads in that area a lot more. They're just bigger. Every product that I've used that claims to tighten pores definitely doesn't, or it will give you like a temporary effect, but it won't last. So that's been my experience with the whole claims of pore tightening, so I'm pretty skeptical on that. But I would say about 2 to 3 weeks into using this mask, I all of a sudden was like, hey, wow, my skin looks better. Especially this area right here, they looked so much smaller and cleaner too. So here's the thing. Here's the thing about pores, about my pores. I have been using 1% retinol. Retinol is one of the only skincare products that is like proven to tighten your pores. So here's the thing. I've been using the retinol for about a month prior to starting the testing period of using this EcoFace mask. I continue to use the 1% retinol while in the 2 months that I was testing this mask. So it definitely, I'm not going to tell you that this mask tightened my pores on its own because it was probably the retinol. But I was using the retinol for about a month before I noticed that. So here, there's 2 things that this could be. Number one, it was a month of retinol use and then a month and a half of retinol use, and then my pores got cleaner because of the retinol, and then therefore they look smaller. Of course, that's possible. The other kind of guess that I have on this one that I think that I'm going to lean a little bit more towards is the fact that, remember how I said the EcoFace helped my skincare absorb into my skin better and faster? I think that is why I all of a sudden, pretty soon into using the EcoFace, noticed that my pores were smaller. I do believe the use of the EcoFace allowed my retinol to get into my skin a little bit better and work more efficiently for my skin. I do believe that the EcoFace is a really good booster to your skincare routine. I don't think this is a miracle product. We're in the middle of the review and I'm going to say this is not a miracle product, but I do think this is a very effective booster for your skincare regime because I think it starts to make your products work better for you. And that's awesome, right? Because all the skincare you're putting on your face is going to be all of a sudden working even harder for you. And I love that. Second benefit that is like mind-blowing, but may or may not be the mask, and this is another really interesting one, and I don't know that I have an inclusive answer on this one. On my eyelids, the top eyelids, I noticed that they were looking firmer. Now, let's be clear here. I don't really have a lot of wrinkles, but I have been noticing around my eye area especially a little bit more wear and tear. Let's call it wear and tear. Maybe fine lines would be a better way to say it. And I have really ramped up my eye care in the last couple of months. In the last, I would say last 6 months, I've gotten really obsessive about eye care. I've always used an eye cream, but I've gotten a little bit more into the eye care. Now, I do use eye cream and I have been using a lot of eye patches, but to be honest with you, I usually really focus my efforts on my under eye area because that's the area I'd like to see improved the most. But towards the end of this testing period, I was looking in the mirror and I was like, you know, my eyelids, the lids, I was like, they just seem smoother or firmer, or there's something about them that looks good, it looks better. So there are 2 products that I use in my skincare routine that could potentially be responsible for this. Vitamin C, which is collagen stimulating, as well as retinol. Now here's the thing though, I don't use those products on my lids. I do on my lower eye area. I can get it pretty high there, but my lids tend to be pretty sensitive. So that does definitely make me wonder if this coincides with using the mask for 2 months to see that, because one of the benefits is that it can stimulate collagen. And remember, collagen is going to be responsible for elasticity, smoothness. It's going to help diminish the appearance of fine lines and wrinkles. So this is really exciting. I can't conclusively say it was this mask for sure, but there's a lot of evidence pointing in the direction that it was potentially responsible for some of it. So when we're talking about the pros and cons of this mask, we got to talk about price. We got to talk about price because I think the price of this mask can either be a pro for some and a con for others. So this mask is $270. Yeah, $270. That is a lot of money to invest into an individual skincare device or product. Now, this is, when we're going to compare, let's compare apples to apples, right? Because even though we may have a little sticker shock on that $270, here's the thing. Let's talk about other masks that are on the market. You know, other masks that you may potentially be looking at buying. When it comes to looking at, comparing apples to apples, this is actually a pretty reasonably priced unit. Now, I did mention that there is kind of an introductory unit available from Neutrogena, and that is under $100, but you do have to continue to invest in the charging packs, and that can end up costing you way more money than investing in a slightly more expensive unit like this one. The most expensive mask that I keep seeing popping up time and time again is the Dr. Dennis Gross mask, and that is about $435 at Sephora. So this kind of falls somewhere in between the lowest and the highest. So I do find this to be, when we're going to say apples to apples of these devices, this is probably a very fair price and definitely moderate and in the middle. Now, the other thing that I was thinking about, when I was considering, is this mask worth it? Because full disclosure, as I mentioned before, I was given the opportunity to test and review this, which means I did not pay $270 for this mask, which means that I need to really put this through the ringer if I'm going to recommend this mask to you, because I didn't feel the pain in my wallet with this unit. So I was thinking, okay, maybe I'm the only one here. I think about individual skincare categories and what is the top dollar that I would pay, like feel comfortable paying, and where do I stop? Do you know what I mean? Like for me, face wash, I don't like, for cleansers, I don't like to spend more than $20. If it's more than $20, I'm kind of like, really? I don't think so. Like I just prefer not to go over $20 for cleansers. Serums, I'll go about like $30, $35 if it's like special. I prefer to stick around the $20 mark. Sunscreens, I don't like to go more than $25 if I can help it. So all these different individual products have price limits in my mind. So I started to get to think about masking, because this is really something that you supplement your routine with. It's a masking product. And sheet masks, I would say I sheet mask 2 to 3 times a week, and I use this about 3 times a week. Sheet masks, I like to keep it budget, man. I like to spend no more than $2 per a mask, give or take. So when it comes down to it, if I was sheet masked for 3 times a week for a year, and each mask was around $2 a mask, that would be about $312 for the year in sheet masks alone. So then when I started to think about it in that sense, the price started to sound about right in my mind. The value of this sounded about right in my mind, because it's probably close to what for us who really like to mask, I think that is about what we budget for a year in masks, give or take some, depending on how often you mask and how much you pay for masks. That starts to make this, where this falls into skincare budgeting, it starts to make it a little bit more clear, at least in my mind. So I think we can agree that this mask is appropriately priced for the value of the mask. But at the end of the day, it still could be a lot of money. So we have to answer the question, is it worth it? And do I recommend it? And I think that this answer comes down to what you need and how you're going to use this. So first things first, I do recommend this as part of an anti-aging and well-aging routine. I particularly think that this is going to be the most beneficial if you're in your 30s, 40s, and potentially your early 50s. I do think that you will reap the benefits of this mask the most, especially because we're talking about the collagen stimulating potential of this mask. I really think that if you're in that age category and this is starting to appeal to you, I do recommend this mask because it did have results. And here's the thing. It is a long-term testing period, 2 months, but for a unit like this, you really want to use it much more long-term and you want to be consistent with your use. If you don't believe you can be consistent with this type of mask, I wouldn't recommend thinking about getting this because this is only going to work for you if you're consistent with it. And that is actually how it is recommended by dermatologists as well, because these are not as strong as the treatments you can get in the dermatologist's office. So this is really something that you have to use multiple times a week in order to gain benefits from, because you're really not going to get the full benefit from just like one time a week. You really do have to stick with it and make it a habit. And I know for some of us that's just not reasonable, or we know ourselves, we'll do it for a couple months and then we'll fall off the wagon. So if you don't think that you'll be consistent with it, I don't think that it's worth the investment, because even though you may be excited about the benefits, remember you are investing in an electronic. And this isn't something that can just be easily recycled or put away in a closet or anything like this. This takes up space and it's not easy to dispose of. And it's a lot of money. So I want you guys to think about if you're really going to be consistent with this. So I do recommend it. If you know that you're going to be consistent with masking, if you're looking for something to kind of like boost your anti-aging routine, I do think that this mask is worth it. And of course, if it's in your budget, it is worth it. So where can you buy this mask? This Eco Face mask is available from retailer Credithink. Now, if you're in the US, you can get this from Amazon, from the Credithink store. They're actually the sole authorized dealer of Eco Face on Amazon. Nobody else is authorized to sell Eco Face on Amazon but Credithink. Now, if you're international, you can go to credithink.com and you can find it listed under the brand Eco Face. So let me know in the comment box below. I am so curious to know, what do you guys think about LED masks? Do you think they're gimmicks? Do you think that there could be potential benefits? What do you guys think? Let me know in the comment box below. If you're not already subscribed to my channel, please consider subscribing. I release 2 new skincare videos every single week, and don't forget to turn on notifications so you never miss the next time I upload the new video. And if you're not already following me on Instagram, come on over to Instagram. I've got mini reviews, routines. I post there daily about my skincare adventures. I really hope you guys are having a beautiful day. I absolutely cannot wait to see you in the next video. We'll talk soon. Bye.